Hello everyone, welcome to Codex Tech. In today's video, I want to cover some steps on installing Windows 11 ARM64 version using VMware Fusion 13 on a Mac M1 or M2. I am installing on M1, but I believe same steps should work on M2 as well. And there are already some very helpful videos and articles out there for installing Windows 11, but most of them talk about using a Windows image, a pre-release version or the beta channel um, version of Windows 11. Just grab the virtual machine disk and just load it up into VMware. Uh, there is one step where you have to convert that virtual machine file to VMware version, but essentially that's how most of them are covering this topic. And although it is easy, but it has some drawbacks that I'll go over in this video as well. So let's start with the thing that we will cover in this video. First is how to get the free version of Fusion 13 player, and then how to get the Windows ARM version, and then creating the VM and installing Windows 11. So let's go over the first one, how to get the Fusion 13 player. So for that one, you can go to VMware website. And just a quick reminder, all these links that I'm sharing in this video right now, like this VMware and the ISO, etc., all these links will be provided in the video description, as well as some steps on how to create the ISO, etc. So first you have to go to the VMware website, and this is the landing page, and there are two different version. If you have a Fusion 13 Pro license, you can just go with that. I believe the process will be same. I don't have that license, so I went with the Fusion 13 player, the free version for the personal use. So you can click on this link. It will take you the process. If you already have an account, you can just go in, download the Fusion 13 player, install on your Mac. It's pretty simple, so I'm not going to cover that in this video. So you can download the file, or either you have to drag the file to your um, to your um, to your application, or you have to run the installer. But it should be pretty simple. So that's one thing. First is we have to get the Fusion 13 player. So that's one requirement. And again, you can get the Pro if you have a license, or you can just use, if you're just using for the personal purpose, then you can use the Fusion 13 player, and that one is free. After you have that one, we'll move to the next step, which is getting the ISO file for the Windows 11. And that's where this video is different from other videos where they just download the beta channel Windows ARM version from Microsoft website. It's a virtual drive or virtual hard disk, and then you have to convert it, and then you just load it into your VMware. Um, so I decided to go using this ISO. There were two issues. One was that it was keep giving me a message that this outdated version, you have to upgrade, but it never upgraded. So that was kind of annoying. It did not stop from doing anything, but it just keep popping, like every time you restart, and maybe every 15-20 minutes it will just pop up. And the second one was that if you try to go back to the Windows Insider program to go to the beta channel, it gave me an error that your virtual machine or your machine is not compatible to Windows 11. So that's why I went with this ISO route. Full disclaimer here that I am not suggesting that you should install using this ISO method because it is not from the Microsoft website. It's a third-party website. Um, I'll show the website next and also share the link. Um, so if you're not comfortable using it because it's not from the Microsoft website, then you can ignore this step and watch the other videos and just use a virtual drive or wait for Microsoft to actually publish the ISO file that you can download. So after explaining that, making sure that you are not just following that and you understand these third-party websites, have their own advantages and disadvantages. So you will go to this website, UUP up dump, and as per what I had seen before, this seems to be pretty okay. They actually download all the files from the Microsoft website, so it's not like it is hosted here, it's just the scripts. And I will also share a link to how to create the ISO file. So this is a very useful web page. So it will cover everything that you need to know. After downloading, what steps you need to do to create the ISO file, etc. So you can follow along in this article. I'm not gonna go over and cover the same thing because it's pretty simple. It covers everything. I'll just briefly show what I picked. So you will pick the 22H2 and for Windows 11, and then there will be a bunch of options. So there is ARM64 here for 1219, and this was the Windows Insider preview. I decided to go with the non-insider preview version for Windows 11 ARM64, and it was on the same date. So once you go on this link, you can pick your language, and next, this is where you can pick what version you want in your ISO file. So you can have both, or you just want home or pro, whichever you want to pick. I'll just pick, let's pick both of them. And in the next step, you download and convert to ISO. And in the article, they say don't include the updates because it will increase the file size, but I included anyways. I thought it should be okay, not a big deal. And they suggest to use Windows machines. So actually, I downloaded it on a Windows machine, not on this Mac um, book. And once I downloaded it on a Windows machine, ran the script to create the ISO file. So one last thing about this same ISO topic, that this was a long process. Our file download was quick. I don't think it took too long to download this script or file. But once you run the downloaded PowerShell script or CMD file, whatever that was, let's see, it should be somewhere here. So yeah, so this is the file, so CMD file. So once you download the CMD file and run it, it will start pulling all the files and packages from the Microsoft website, and it took a while. So my guess is it took more than 30 minutes or so. So it might have been almost 1 hour. So it took a while to build the ISO file, and at the end you will get a single ISO file to use. So after you have done all these things, so you have the VMware Fusion player and you have the ISO file. Um, so in this last step, we will be creating the virtual machine using VMware and installing the Windows 11. Since you have the VMware Fusion already installed, so you'll go to your MacBook menu bar and click on the VMware Fusion menu. Um, so when you click on that one, it will bring up this screen to create other virtual machine or use the existing one. So click on create a new virtual machine. And here you will select create a custom virtual machine. Click continue. Next, you will select Windows 11 64-bit ARM. Here you will select the UEFI secure boot. Click continue. So here you have option. You can either encrypt all the files and store the password in the Mac keyboard chain. But since I'm just creating it for testing purpose, so I will not save it to the keychain. It will give this message. I'll say I don't care. So we'll move forward, create a new virtual disk, which is fine. Next, here you cannot change anything, although there's a customized settings, but it just shows where to save. So yeah, I guess we can just give it a different name. So I'll just call it Windows test, I guess. Yeah, test only. And we'll save it. So it will bring up the Windows screen and also some settings. So we'll have to do a couple of things. First of all these settings are optional. You can choose whatever you prefer. I'll choose 4 processors. I'll give it 8 GB of RAM. In display, I will not change anything. 3D graph is already disabled. Retina display seems like a good option, but I had issue with Retina display. This checkbox, it would always change the initial resolution to be a really small window. So yeah, so I will not do anything over there. Next is CD. So this is where you will choose your ISO image that you created in the second step. So I'll select the file, click open, and advanced option. I don't think I selected anything. There's nothing here. The last important thing is the startup disk. So select on CD, DVD, and click on restart. Because we're supposed to see an option for CD or DVD. It still did not work, so let me shut down and let's check the properties to see ISO file is actually loaded. Yeah, Windows. Oh, my bad. So you have to click connect CD drive. That's important. Okay, go back and see restart. Okay, it should work this time. Yeah, so we got the message. We hit enter, and we will run it now. Let me make it fit in this window. Okay, so big enough that let me make it big enough to it's readable. And now it's pretty standard Windows installation. So we'll click next, install now, and now I will let it run. So if you have an existing Windows key or you bought a Windows key, then enter it right now here. We can always enter it later on too. So I'll select I don't have product key right now. So at least we can finish the setup and click next. And we'll select custom install, and we want to use the whole hard drive. Okay, so at this point I will pause the video and I will come back once this step has finished. Okay, so installation is finished. It will restart now. Um, so there is nothing specific in the installation process over there. So just pretty standard Windows installation. After installation is done, it is restarting now. So we will just wait. Um, just wait here now. So I'll pause. I'll do a quick pause here just to save some time. I'll come back once it starts the Windows installer. Okay, so it has restarted and it started the installer. So here is one step that I found from another video about using the virtual disk process instead of doing the installation. So here issue is that if I continue from this step forward, after maybe 2 or 3 steps, it will try to connect to internet and it will fail. Um, for whatever reason, it doesn't work on VMware Fusion right now. There is no internet, and we'll get the internet back once we boot into Windows and we install the VMware tools. So what we have to do is we have to press Shift F10 key at this stage. So on your Mac, you have to press the function key, Shift, and then hold them down and tap on F10 key. Once you do that, it will pop up this Windows command prompt, and you have to type in OBE and then you have to type in bypass and ro.cmd. So you type this command, and what it will do is that it will skip the internet connectivity during the setup process and let us install and set up Windows at least. And once I hit enter here, it will restart the Windows machine. So let's do that. Okay, so after the restart, we are back. Now we'll just continue with the setup. So yes, we'll select the keyboard. We don't want second keyboard. This is the step where it would have failed if we did not bypass. So see, there is no network. So I will say I don't have internet and continue with limited setup. And now you have to give a username. So I will pick some random username, just test user, click next, enter a random password, something to enter, click next. I will enter same password again for confirmation, click next. Now I have to pick 3 questions and answers, so I'll do that and come back after that. So after security questions on this screen, you have to select your privacy settings. You can just click next without making any changes, or you can enable, disable whatever you want. So I'll just quickly do that and just click next, accept, and now it will do the setup process. So I will pause it here and come back when it's ready. Okay, so setup process is completed, and this is the first time Windows loading, but there is no internet connectivity right now. So if you see at the bottom right here, there is no internet access. So we will fix that next. So for that, we have to open the PowerShell first. So I will enter this PowerShell and run as administrator here. Click yes. Once we are in the PowerShell, we will have to use the command set execution policy with remote sign. We want to allow remote sign files. Select A, that is yes to all, at least for now. And once this is done, we'll go to the virtual VMware menu, click the VMware tools because we want to mount that as a CD on this virtual machine. And after we select that option in the menu, we'll get this message. We'll click on install. It will attach it as a CD. A message should pop up soon. Okay, so we'll click on this DVD drive that is attached and click open folders. We have to run this one file, setup. It's a PowerShell script. So right click and run with PowerShell. We'll select that option. It will start running. Click yes on that one. So it will start running some two VMware tools. So first it will set up the network driver. So that one we can see in the background, VMXNet, and now it has installed the graphics driver as well. So the first one, VMXNet, is the network, and SVGA is the graphics driver. So close that window. And now let me resize it quickly. So we can disable the remote sign thing again, but see, internet is back, so that is good. And let's disable it again. So run the same command, and this time select L, that is no to all. So it should be back to how it was before. And since internet is back now and graphics driver, so if you right click and display settings, you will see all the display resolutions are available, so you can pick whatever you think is needed for your use case. So you can select any option. So it looks good. So that concludes this video. So we have Windows 11 installed on Mac OS ARM processor. It looks good. It's working fine. Internet is back. Display graphics card is installed as well. So I will just wrap up this video here. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.